I never thought I would be the kind of man who writes a story like this. For years, I believed cheating was something that happened to other people. People who ignored red flags. People who were too jealous, too careless, too naive, too blind. I used to think, if someone cheats on me, I'll just leave immediately. No drama. No begging. No looking back. Then it happened to me. And I learned that betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your sense of reality. I'm 34 now. Let's call me Daniel. My ex, Emily, is 32. We were together for almost 9 years. We met in college. I was an awkward, ambitious guy from a regular family, working part-time jobs and trying to build a life from nothing. Emily was beautiful, funny, sharp, and full of energy. She had this way of making every boring day feel like a scene from a movie. In the beginning, we were happy in the simplest way. Cheap coffee. Long walks. Sitting in my old car talking until 2 a.m. Dreaming about the future like it was guaranteed. She used to tell me she wanted a house, a dog, 2 kids, and a husband who would never betray her. I remember looking at her and thinking, I can be that man. And I tried. After college, life got serious fast. I didn't have rich parents. I didn't have connections. I didn't have a safety net. I worked in customer support during the day and taught myself software development at night. I slept 4 or 5 hours most nights, but I didn't complain because I thought I was building our future. Emily was still trying to find herself. First she wanted to be a designer. Then a social media manager. Then she wanted to start a small online business. Then she hated her job and needed a break. I supported all of it. If she needed a course, I paid for it. If she quit a job because her boss was toxic, I covered more of the bills. If she cried because she felt lost, I held her and told her she was talented and everything would work out. Back then, I thought that was love. Now I understand that somewhere along the way, I stopped being her partner and became her safety net. After 5 years together, we moved into a small apartment. It was nothing special. The kitchen was tiny, the walls were thin, and the bathroom light flickered whenever it felt like it. But to me, it felt like home because she was there. I bought us a decent bed, a desk for my work, and a big mirror she wanted for the bedroom. She laughed and said, "You're so reliable. I'd never fall apart with you around." At the time, I took that as a compliment. I didn't realize reliable can slowly become boring in the wrong person's eyes. On our 7th anniversary, I proposed. It wasn't some huge public proposal. No restaurant full of strangers. No violinist. No fireworks. Just the 2 of us on a quiet beach during a weekend trip. I was shaking so badly I could barely get the words out. She cried and said yes. I thought that was the beginning of the rest of my life. But after that, the wedding kept getting delayed. First, she wanted to lose weight before dress shopping. Then she said the timing felt stressful. Then she didn't like the venues. Then she said my family was making her anxious. Then she said she wanted our wedding to be perfect because she only planned to do it once. I accepted every excuse because I loved her. And because, if I'm being honest, I was scared to push too hard. Around that time, my old friend Mark came back into our lives. Mark and I had known each other since high school. He wasn't my closest friend, but he was part of my circle. We watched games together, grabbed drinks sometimes, and he helped me move furniture when Emily and I first got our apartment. Emily always seemed to like him in a casual way. She joked that Mark had more charm than I did. "Maybe you should learn from him," she once said, laughing. I laughed too. I wasn't jealous. I trusted her. I trusted him. That was my mistake. The first sign was small. One night, I saw Emily smiling at her phone. Not just a normal smile. It was the kind of smile she used to give me when we first started dating. I asked, "What's so funny?" She locked the screen quickly and said, "Just a meme from Sarah." I believed her. Then she started staying out later. Girls' nights. Work drinks. Needing space. Feeling overwhelmed. Wanting to clear her head. I tried to be the understanding fiancé. I told myself healthy relationships needed independence. I didn't want to be controlling. I didn't want to be insecure. Then came the criticism. "You're always working. You've become so predictable. I feel like we're roommates. You don't make me feel excited anymore. You're a good man, Daniel, but sometimes I need more than good." Those words crushed me. But instead of getting angry, I tried harder. I bought flowers. Planned dates. Cooked dinners. Suggested trips. I started going to the gym because she once said I had let myself go a little. I even booked therapy because I thought maybe I had become emotionally unavailable. While I was trying to fix myself, she was building a relationship with someone else. One Friday night, Emily said she was going to a coworker's birthday dinner. About an hour later, a mutual friend called me. "Where are you?" he asked. "At home." There was a pause. "Is Emily with you?" "No. She's at a birthday dinner." "Why?" Another pause. "Never mind. Maybe I saw wrong." My stomach dropped. I didn't yell. I didn't call her. I didn't drive around looking for her. I just sat in the apartment, staring at the wall, feeling something cold open up inside me. We had an old tablet that we both used sometimes. Her messages were synced to it. In 9 years, I had never gone through her private messages. Not once. That night, I sat in front of the tablet for nearly 20 minutes before touching it. I felt disgusting. I felt like I was violating her privacy. That feeling lasted until I opened her conversation with Mark. Then everything inside me went silent. There were hearts. Inside jokes. Flirty messages. Then messages that weren't just flirty. "I miss your hands. Last night was perfect. He has no idea. I feel bad, but I can't stop thinking about you." My brain refused to process it at first. I remember reading the same lines over and over, waiting for them to change into something harmless. They didn't. Then I found the messages where she talked about me. "He's sweet, but he's weak. I don't know how to leave. He'll be destroyed. I wish he made me feel the way you do." That one sentence broke something in me. I was sitting in the apartment I had worked so hard to provide, reading messages between my fiancé and my friend about how pathetic I was. She came home after midnight. She smelled like perfume and alcohol, and underneath that, a cologne I recognized. She walked into the kitchen and saw me sitting there with the tablet. Her face changed instantly. Not guilt first. Fear. Then anger. "What did you do?" she asked. Not "what's wrong?" Not "are you okay?" "What did you do?" I turned the tablet toward her. She went pale. Then came the tears. "Daniel, I can explain." I said only one thing. "How long?" She looked down. 3 months. I later found out it had been almost 8. That night, I didn't throw her out. I wish I could say I was strong. I wish I could say I packed her bags, opened the door, and never spoke to her again. But the truth is, I was destroyed. 9 years don't disappear because of one night, even if that night reveals a lie. I looked at her and saw the woman who drank cheap coffee with me in college. The woman I proposed to on the beach. The woman I had built my entire adult life around. She cried. She said it was a mistake. She said she was confused. She said Mark gave her attention when she felt invisible. She said she loved me. She said it wasn't serious. I asked, were you ever going to tell me? She said nothing. That was my answer. The next morning, I called Mark. He didn't answer. He texted, bro, let's talk like adults. Bro. I blocked him. The weeks after that were hell. Emily moved out, but not cleanly. She went to her mother's, then came back for clothes, then cried in the hallway, saying I was throwing away 9 years. Her mother called me and said, real men forgive. Emily made a mistake. My own mother said something I'll never forget. She didn't make a mistake. She made a choice. Don't you dare confuse the two. I wish that fixed me. It didn't. The worst part after being cheated on isn't only the cheating. It's what it does to your mind afterward. You start blaming yourself. Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I wasn't exciting enough. Maybe I was too safe. Maybe I should have noticed. Maybe if I were richer, stronger, better looking, more confident, more romantic, more masculine, she wouldn't have done it. I lost weight fast. Not in a healthy way. I just stopped eating. At work, I pretended everything was fine, then locked myself in the bathroom and tried not to fall apart. At night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, my brain tortured me with images of them together. Her laughing with him. Her touching him. Her choosing him. It felt like being forced to watch a movie I never wanted to see. Friends tried to help at first. Then they got tired. I don't blame them. People don't know what to do with grief that repeats itself. They say things like, move on, forget her, find someone else, you're a man, don't let this break you. But it did break me. The lowest point came 3 months later. I saw a photo of Emily and Mark together on social media. They were at a CAF she and I used to call our place. The caption said, happiness starts when you stop being afraid of change. I remember staring at it until my hands went numb. She had turned our destruction into a motivational quote. That night, I got drunk alone. I wrote her a long message. A humiliating message. Angry, desperate, pathetic. I begged for answers. I asked if any of it had been real. I told her I missed her. Thankfully, I didn't send it. In the morning, I read it and deleted it. That was the first time I realized I needed help. I called a therapist and said, I'm not okay. I don't know how to survive this. Therapy didn't magically heal me. At first, it made everything worse because I had to be honest. I had to admit that I hadn't just lost Emily. I had lost myself years before she cheated. I had been living like love was something I needed to earn. I thought if I paid enough, supported enough, tolerated enough, fixed enough, forgave enough, then I would finally be chosen. But I wasn't a partner anymore. I was a provider. A backup plan. A comfortable place to land. My therapist once asked me, if your best friend told you this exact story, would you tell him he caused the cheating? I answered immediately, no. She said, then why are you telling yourself that? I didn't have an answer. Healing was slow. Painfully slow. First, I removed everything that reminded me of her. Photos, gifts, her mug, the blanket she loved, little notes she had left around the apartment. I didn't destroy them dramatically. I just packed them into boxes and gave them to a mutual friend. I sold the engagement ring. With that money, I paid for a professional course I had been putting off for years. Then I went back to the gym. Not because I wanted revenge. Not because I wanted her to see me and regret it. At least, not at first. I just needed to feel like my body belonged to me again. The first workouts were embarrassing. I was weak. Tired. Angry. Sometimes I would do 20 minutes and leave. But I kept showing up. After a month, I slept a little better. After 3 months, I noticed my shoulders getting broader. After 6 months, I looked in the mirror and didn't hate the man staring back. I stopped drinking completely. Not because I had a drinking problem, but because I realized alcohol made the hole inside me deeper. I started running in the mornings. At first, I hated every second of it. Then it became therapy. Every mile felt like I was pushing her voice out of my head. Work changed too. Before all this, I avoided conflict. I was afraid to ask for raises. Afraid to set boundaries. Afraid of being seen as difficult. After the betrayal, something in me shifted. I thought, if I survived being humiliated by the woman I wanted to marry, then a conversation with my boss cannot kill me. I asked for a promotion. They said no. So I applied elsewhere. 2 months later, I accepted a new job with a much better salary and a stronger title. Then I moved apartments. The new place had big windows, clean walls, and a kitchen that actually had space for more than one person. The first night, I sat on the floor surrounded by boxes, eating pizza straight from the carton. It was quiet. No Emily. No tension. No waiting for her mood to decide what kind of night I would have. Just me. The emptiness hurt, but it was mine. Emily started texting occasionally. At first, it was, "I hope you're doing okay." Then, "I miss talking to you." Then, "Do you really hate me enough to erase 9 years?" I didn't answer. Not because I was trying to punish her. Because I knew one reply would drag me back into the swamp. About a year after the breakup, I heard that she and Mark had split. A mutual friend told me Mark cheated on her. I expected to feel satisfaction. I didn't. There was a time when I fantasized about karma finding her. I imagined her crying the way I cried. I imagined her finally understanding what she had done. But when it happened, it didn't heal anything. Her pain didn't repair mine. That was an important lesson. Healing cannot depend on the person who hurt you suffering enough. A week after their breakup, Emily messaged me. "Can I call you? I'm in a really bad place." I stared at it for a long time. Old me would have answered immediately. Old me would have driven over. Held her. Comforted her. Become her emotional safety net again after another man broke her heart. But I wasn't that version of myself anymore. I wrote back. "I'm sorry you're hurting. But I'm not the person you can come to for comfort anymore. Take care of yourself." Then I blocked her. For the first time in over a year, I felt free. Not happy exactly. Free. But healing still wasn't a straight line. There were setbacks. There were mornings when I woke up feeling worthless again. There were dates where I couldn't relax because a woman checked her phone too often. There were moments when a delayed text made my chest tighten. Betrayal damages trust in ways people don't understand unless they've lived it. You don't just have to learn to trust others again. You have to learn to trust yourself. Your judgment. Your instincts. Your ability to leave when something is wrong. I stayed in therapy. I learned to say no. I learned that being kind doesn't mean being available to people who destroyed you. I learned that love without self-respect turns into self-abandonment. About a year and a half after the breakup, I took a solo trip to the mountains. Emily and I had always talked about going there, but we kept postponing it. One day, I realized I was still waiting for someone else to start living my life with me. So I went alone. After a long hike, I reached a viewpoint overlooking the valley. I sat on a rock, exhausted, sweaty, and completely alone. And I cried. Not because I missed her. Because I didn't. For the first time in years, I felt like I belonged to myself. Not to a relationship. Not to someone else's approval. Not to the fear of being abandoned. To myself. It has been a little over 2 years now. I didn't become a millionaire. I didn't buy a sports car. I didn't start dating a supermodel like those fake revenge stories online. But I became stronger in ways that actually matter. I have a better job now. I lead a small team. I'm in the best shape of my life. I have friends who know the healed version of me, not just the broken one. I learned how to cook. I learned how to be alone without feeling abandoned. And recently, I saw Emily again. It happened at a shopping center. I was coming out of a bookstore when I noticed a woman standing near a coffee shop. At first, I didn't recognize her. Not because she looked bad. She didn't. She looked older, maybe more tired, but still like Emily. I didn't recognize her because my body didn't react the way it used to. No punch to the chest. No panic. No desperate pull. Just recognition. She saw me first. Daniel. I stopped and said hello. She looked me up and down, and I could see her trying to connect the man in front of her with the man she had left sitting broken at a kitchen table. I was calm. Fit. Dressed well. Holding a book. Not destroyed. You look really good, she said. Thanks. You too. There was an awkward silence. Then she asked how I was. I kept it simple. Work was good. Life was good. I was doing well. Then she said, I think about what I did a lot. I was horrible to you. There was a time when I dreamed of hearing those words. I thought they would heal me. But standing there, I realized they had arrived too late to matter. Not because I wanted to punish her. Because I no longer needed her confession to validate my pain. I said, yes. It hurt. But I got through it. Her eyes filled with tears. I lost the best person in my life, she whispered. And something strange happened. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel cruel joy. I didn't want to comfort her either. I just felt a quiet sadness, like looking at a burned-down house you used to live in. I said, maybe. But I found myself. So I guess things ended the way they had to. We said goodbye. I walked away. I didn't look back. When I got to my car, I sat there for a few minutes in silence. Then I smiled. Not because I had won. Nobody wins in betrayal. Everyone loses something. I smiled because she no longer had power over me. If you're reading this while living through the first brutal months after being cheated on, I won't tell you to just move on. That advice is useless. You won't move on quickly. There will be nights when your own thoughts torture you. There will be days when you want to text them. There will be moments when you blame yourself because blaming yourself feels easier than accepting that someone you loved chose to hurt you. But listen to me. Do not turn their betrayal into a life sentence for yourself. Being cheated on does not mean you weren't attractive enough, successful enough, masculine enough, interesting enough, or lovable enough. It means someone chose dishonesty over respect. It means someone chose selfishness over integrity. It means someone chose temporary pleasure over the person who trusted them. Maybe your relationship had problems. Most long relationships do. But problems are solved with conversations, therapy, distance, or even a clean breakup. Not betrayal. For a long time, I believed if I had been better, Emily wouldn't have cheated. Now I understand the truth. If I had been worse, she would have used that as her excuse. If I had been better, she would have found another excuse. Because cheating was not proof of my lack of value. It was proof of her lack of character. The hardest part isn't just letting go of the person. It's letting go of the future you imagined with them. The wedding. The children. The house. The old age together. The version of life that existed in your head and then died without your permission. You are allowed to grieve that. But one day, if you keep going, you'll wake up and realize you didn't think about them all morning. Then all day. Then a week. Then their name won't hurt as much. Then your old song will play somewhere, and you won't fall apart. Then you'll understand that you weren't just abandoned in the dark. You were pushed out of a life where you had already abandoned yourself. I'm not grateful Emily cheated. I won't romanticize betrayal. What she did was cruel. What Mark did was disgusting. I don't need to call it a blessing to prove I healed. But I am grateful to myself. For not sending that humiliating message. For going to therapy. For getting out of bed when I didn't want to. For not begging. For not becoming bitter. For not letting two people's betrayal define the rest of my life. She cheated on me with my friend. I suffered for almost 2 years. But in the end, she lost a man who loved her more than himself. And I lost a woman who made me forget that I was worth loving too.